Welcome to Blue Collar Podcasts. Today I have Q and Cheyenne. How are y'all doing today?
Doing all right. How you doing?
Good.
Doing good.
All right.
So Q, I remember at work you were telling me you had some stuff to say. So we're finally here. You finally get a chance to say it. So I want to start off just kind of asking you kind of where you grew up, where you're from, early days of your life.
I was born in Jackson, Mississippi, and I stayed in Mississippi in a little town called Alma, Mississippi. And I moved to Louisiana when I was maybe 5, maybe 6 years old. And we moved down here. We stayed with my grandmother for a little while. And then my mom and dad got their own place in the Tallbenny. And that's why I stayed there for like 22 years till I got older to 2015, I think it was. 17?
16.
Yeah. And I got my own little place.
Where you from, Cheyenne? Where'd you grow up at?
I'm from Hammond. I've lived in Hammond my whole life until now I live in Tickfall. But it's like you can throw a rock and hit the one, so just always been here.
Okay. When did you move to Louisiana?
It was 1990, somewhere along in there.
That's the year I was born.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why'd you say you moved? You said your grandma?
Yeah, we stayed a couple different places. But I remember staying with my grandmother too, for a little while. And I remember the little process of us getting our own little place in the Tallbenny. And it was just rough. It was rough when I was, cause it was like a little ran down trailer we was staying in, and but we made the best of it, you know. It was, most of my good memories came from my childhood.
What kind of memories you got? What do you want to talk about?
Like going to church a lot. We was in church a lot, you know. My mom was a very church going person. And she had us in church, singing in the choir and everything. Like, yeah. The way I turned out now is nothing like how my childhood was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole lot different.
So Cheyenne, what was your childhood like growing up?
Well, I was pretty much spoiled. I was the only child and first grandchild on both sides. And then I was the only child till I was 4. And then that's whenever my little sister was born, and it was just me and her. But when I was 10, my parents got a divorce, and then so we stayed at my mom's house with her for a while. We didn't see my dad for a little while because he got with this woman that was like extremely jealous of his kids, which was like weird, but anyway. So my mom pretty much raised me and my sister by herself. Then now that I'm older, though, my dad's a great dad. Like, he's always there. Like, he's really made up for it tenfold. So, like, I hate to even say anything, like, bad about it. But my childhood was good. I really got anything that I ever wanted handed to me on a silver platter. And it, like, I ain't gonna lie, though. Like, it did mess me up in, like, later in life. Because, like, whenever I was, like, first on my own, like, or I say on my own. I've lived with Quill ever since I moved out of my mom's house, literally. But, like, whenever I was first there, I was like, oh, we have to wash dishes? Like, you actually wash clothes or something? Like, because I've never had to do anything like that growing up. So it definitely was like a whole shell shock. But I still loved my childhood. Like, I wouldn't change it. It was great.
That's good. You do dishes now?
As little as possible.
We got a dishwasher now.
Right.
Oh, man.
I do cook really good now, though.
That's good. So, Q, I remember you telling me you got your first job when you were 13.
Yeah.
Kind of tell me about that.
Yeah. It goes back to church again. That's how I got into that. The deacon at my church, the church we were going to, he had his own garbage service. And I was trying to work before then because I had seen all my brother them, and like I said, we was poor, so mom and dad couldn't buy me name brand stuff. So I had to figure out the way to get it on my own. And when I started seeing my brother wearing name brand stuff and seeing how they did it, which was working, you know, that's what I wanted to do. I was like 10, 12 years old saying this, and I was too young to get it in. But as soon as I made 13, the deacon of my church told me whenever I make 13, he'll let me work on the truck. And so I couldn't wait till I made 13 to start making some money. And when I started making money, I knew how to save money. Like I never really spent money until I was able to pay for the things I wanted and still had money left over, you know. So I wouldn't be broke. I still have money, you know. And that's how I was with saving and getting this, and at the same time getting the stuff that I wanted, you know. Trying to get name brand shoes and clothes, trying to basically keep up with everybody else, you know. Because I was behind. I was wearing Payless shoes and shit like that, you know. And
I grew up wearing
and it cost a
Payless
lot
shoes.
of
So I grew up wearing Payless shoes.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And I thought they was good looking shoes, you know. But when you get to school around other people with Jordans and Air Max and Nike and Reeboks, but back then it was Reeboks, you know, Nike and Reebok. And they'll talk about you bad, like especially coming from where I came from, you know. You had to be up to par, you know.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cheyenne, you had a job when you were younger? Or
No.
this time?
I think that my first job was
And you working at Walmart. At the
I was working at the Vision Center in Walmart under Dr. Seibert in Covington and in Hammond for a while, and that was my first job.
Okay.
And I got that. It was easy. I liked it. I mean, I was just young. I was 17. I was just really young. I got my cousin Patience was working for him, and then another job opened up where they needed somebody else. So she just called me and told me, did I want to do it? I had never had a job in the first place. Like, so, I mean, that was my first job, was at the eye doctor. And I wasn't just calling people's names. Like, I was having to give them their little glucose test things where you puff the air in their eye. And, like, I had a lot of responsibilities. But I just wasn't ready for a lot of responsibilities. Like, I stayed there for a couple months, maybe a year or something like that. But I was, like, fisting to be 18. I wanted to do whatever I wanted to do. I didn't want to, like, have to go to work 9 to 5.
Oh, dang.
So I basically like just quit, and I messed all that up. I should have stayed, but yeah, I was young and dumb.
So had your first job at 13. So what was a weekend like for you?
There was
a weekend.
a weekend. It was just a weekend thing. It was 2 days a week. I think I was making like $60 a day.
Okay.
Working like, I mean, it started out being like maybe 5 hours a day. Then it turned out to being a 8-hour shift, like a regular job on weekends. Like I work from 6 to like 3:30 or something like that, 3 o'clock. I don't really remember the time.
And then afterwards, him and his brothers would sneak out of their windows and go to the skating ring where we met for the first time.
Yeah. And she said she don't date black boys.
Oh my God, but why would you say that?
So you just sneak out?
That is so funny.
Yeah, we used to sneak out to go to the skating ring. It was like maybe 5 minutes from our house. We used to walk there, ride our bikes. Me and my brother, them, like we'll wait till our mom go to sleep or go to work, and we'll have our clothes already on up underneath the covers, so we won't have to get dressed and stuff, make a lot of noise. We had a window already open with the curtains covering it up, so she went.
So you said you go to skating rinks. What was the environment there like?
Violent.
Violent?
Yeah. Like you had to, like me and my brothers, I got 5 other brothers. It was 6 of us all together, and then we had our homeboys. So I think I remember us always being like 13 deep. Everywhere we went, to the Strawberry Festival, any type of the pool party they used to have back in the day. Cause back then, Hammond and them surrounding areas like that used to be jumping. Like they used to have all type of events and stuff. But the skating ring, it was like a every Friday and Saturday thing for us. But on Saturdays was when you really had to watch it back. That was what we used to call the black people night. You know, that was
I wasn't allowed to go there on Saturday nights.
Yeah, Saturday night didn't want no white people. Friday night was for the white people, and Saturday night was for the black people. Like, I mean, even though on Fridays they used to have black and white people there, but it was for like the more toned down black people, like that was more organized and not with the, you know.
Oh, okay.
But Saturdays it was like all of where the animals come out at, like where you gotta watch your back, you gotta have some people with you. Because it was a hood thing. It was like a lot of gang banging and shit going on back then. Like this east side, west side, shit, and uptown Hammond and downtown Hammond. And it was just a lot of hood shit. You know? A lot of people getting snuck and shot, and ambulance getting towed out by the ambulance or in handcuffs from doing something, selling drugs. They were selling drugs. They were doing it all in that. Like, having sex, all that. It was like you would be walking through the skate ring, see a girl bent over getting her ass knocked off. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you seen it all. Like that place introduced a lot of stuff to me. Like music. It was a lot of like. Cause certain song will come on and like you'll see it was like a club. It wasn't like the skate ring because really wasn't nobody skating. They had a lot of people skating, but they had like every bit of 300-400 people at that moment. 99% of the people was just walking around being messy, seeing what they could get into, trying to see the different hood come up in there that they might not like and run the whole hood out. They did it to us one time. And yeah, they ran us out of that. Them Hammond boys ran us out of that one time. It was just too many of them. It was like 13 of us, and it was like 50 of them, 50, 60. Really, the whole skate ring was like, cause independent wasn't allowed, A-Meat wasn't allowed. If you wasn't from Hammond, that was the only time they'll stick together. The Hammond, the downtown and uptown part of Hammond, they're the only time they stick together when another hood come in there, like from Independence or A-Meat or somewhere else, Ponchatoula or some shit like that. That's the only time Hammond will stick together when another hood come in there besides Hammond, and they'll ride their ass out. But when it's nothing but Hammond in there, they'll be beefing with each other. Like, it was crazy.
So what if I walked up in there on Saturday?
Oh yeah,
I ain't from
you went
there.
last 5 minutes in there. I seen a person get knocked out in there and went into a seizure. He fell on my brother. The dude went into a seizure. He got hit with I don't know if it was a pool ball or a skate. I think it was a skate that time. He got hit with a skate. It was something hard to do. And the dude like went into a seizure and fell out on my brother. I had never seen nothing like that. And it was scary. It was scary that we thought the dude was gonna die. And but we ain't know nothing about no seizures. I ain't never seen nobody have a seizure. I heard of it, but I ain't never actually seen one. And it scared the shit out of him. And the dude fell on my brother. My brother just moved back and let the dude fall on the floor. And he was just shaking and shit, and it scared the shit out of him. We left. And next thing you know, the ambulance and the police comes in there, and it was just bad, bro. Like, that's one of my worstest memories right there. That one right there, like being in that place, and we still wanted to go, like, because you never know what you'll see, and then you see everybody from school in the hood, and that's one of the only thing that kept us good in there. And the Talbot, where we was from, that was the only thing that kept us good, because we were pretty much raised up with Hammond people, and then my mom's side of my family, they was all from Hammond and knew everybody, so yeah. So we were pretty much good.
And to hear him talk about Roller Kingdom like that, like, because I went to that same skating ring every single weekend too. I just went on Friday nights. I had nowhere near no kind of experience like that. Like, yeah, I seen a couple
like
bikes,
night and day.
But like literally, it was night and day. From
Fridays was way more laid back. You go up in there and
like people was just skating,
just different. Like everybody, it was
games.
like family night compared to Saturdays.
Yeah.
Saturdays, it was straight thugging.
Oh, man.
It was like a club. It was like the zoo, like crazy.
You got any stories from
skating ring?
Yeah.
No, not me, because I was just a good kid there. I didn't do nothing. I just like hung out with my friends and minding my business and stayed in my little lane. And yeah, I was just.
That's why I first seen her at.
Okay.
He tells me I told him
She
that
don't
I don't
remember,
date
but I
black
do.
guys, but I don't remember saying that. But I can imagine myself saying that back then, just because the way I was
remember
raised.
her name, I
Like,
remember her face, I remember that butt, you know.
um,
Cause you know back then, too many white girls ain't had no booty, like.
remember.
But she was one of them ones that had a little ass on her, you know what I'm saying? And that would have attracted me to her. I remember seeing her. And I'm like, dang, who that white girl is right there? And then I'm like, what, 4 years older than her almost.
right, so I would have been like 11 or 12, and you would have been
14.
no, like 15 or 16.
maybe.
Yeah.
And but she didn't never look at it. She always looked at more mature and older.
I was really tall.
Cause she tall, like,
Yeah.
and it was just something about it that attracted me to it. And I just, back then I was just however I felt and what I went for, you know. I was a little shy though, but it was just something about her. I was like, man, I gotta go get. Cause my brother used to always tell me, man, if you don't open your mouth, you ain't closed. Basically, what they told me, closed mouth don't get fed. You ain't gonna really get girls if you don't go talk to them, you know. I remember my brother used to always have to go tell a girl that I like them for them, and they had to say it back, and and that's how you used to get girls back then. Like, it wasn't no you going up to a girl and be like, hey, what's up, you know. It was like you sending one of your friends or your brother or some of your cousins or somebody that actually know the person. Like, man, what's up with old girl? And then I have to relay the message.
So how did he approach you? What was the approach from him?
She don't remember anything.
I don't.
I remember everything.
I remember meeting him when I was like 16. That's when I remember meeting him. But when I first met him, he told me this story. Like, he was like, "Oh, I met you already, and I told you this
I was like,
a long time ago, right? Yeah." And he told me that. He's told me that from day one.
I tried to holler at you in the skate ring one time.
And I mean, he was older than me, so I believe him.
And you told me you don't date black dudes, and
here we are married all these years later.
Because I remember the same friend she had when I tried to holler at her. She was sitting there talking to her. It was a girl named Ashley, and I don't remember. I think it was Nikki Black.
Maybe. Could have been.
I think she was talking to them whenever I seen her.
So you go to the skating rink on weekends and then you go home. What was it like at home when you weren't at the skating rink? Just laid back?
More like back to reality.
Okay.
Especially when you leave on Friday. 'Cause on Fridays, I used to never want it to end. On Saturdays, I used to not want it to end, but kind of at the same time, it was just a lot of shit that I didn't want to see, that I wasn't used to seeing. But it had a whole lot more girls on Saturdays and Fridays too. I think that was the reason what attracted us to it. It had, like, because if you dress good and look good, you know, dress pretty decent, you get the girls, you know. That's how it was back then. Like,
Said you had 5 brothers? 5
5
brothers.
6 of us all together.
Okay. What was it like growing up with 5 brothers? Always in trouble?
Yeah. Oh yeah, hell yeah. Fighting, slap boxing, and we ain't never really fought because, I mean, even though we like all a year apart, we ain't never really fought. We used to slap box and shit like that. It was just getting in trouble together, getting our wood, playing in the woods, playing in the yard, bringing stray dogs from off the streets and trying to keep them, and our parents telling them we can't, shit like that. Just running around barefooted, racing, playing basketball, playing football, and we didn't have an actual basketball goal. we had a crate nailed to the tree, or a bike tie rim or something with the spokes missing out of it, and we were shooting that. Yeah, we was straight hood, you know, straight ghetto, ghetto kids.
You said you were a single child and then sister
No,
came?
I have a little sister.
Sister.
Yeah.
What was it like when she came along?
I was jealous at first for a long time because I had to share my attention, but then I loved having her though. Like, she actually died. She got killed in 2014, so she's been gone. This year will be 10 years. So I miss her more than anything in the world. That's the hardest thing I've ever been through, the worst thing that's ever happened to me. And I would literally do anything in this world other than sell my soul to have her back.
Sorry to hear that.
No, her name was Sierra. Sierra Renee.
All right, so you said you grew up with 5 other brothers, and your parents, were they kind of like real strict, or were they kind of like?
Oh man, I think I had to.
Said they were religious, so I figured they'd be
very
be at home at 9 o'clock.
On both sides, my dad and my mom, like they made it. We had to go to church. We went to church like 3 or 4 times a week, not including choir practice. That was on Fridays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays, and choir practice on Saturdays. So that's like 4 days a week I'm in the church, like more than almost just as much as school. Yeah, my parents were very strict. We couldn't do a lot, but we didn't have a lot of stuff what other kids had. Like I said, we was poor. We didn't have the name brand shoes, the Hot Wheels. We had bikes, and
bikes and outside.
We get a brand new bike pretty much every Christmas. Like that was the only thing we got. Like maybe a new pair of socks or something like that from my grandparents, and like the church and stuff. They'll give us stuff like socks and like that. But for us, like my dad used to, like when we got a little older and could use it, he bought us a BB gun and bikes. That was pretty much the only thing we got. Like we didn't get no toys, like no Hot Wheels, and we didn't have no Lucky Charms cereal. We eating cornflakes, like just regular cornflakes. The ones you had to put the sugar on. We didn't have none of that. No Fruit Loops, none of the top brand cereal and all that. Like it was.
I'm guessing you had the exact opposite.
Right. Yeah, like I just had whatever I wanted whenever I wanted it.
You had all the Fruit Loops and Lucky Charms.
Right, all the Fruit Loops and Lucky Charms. My mom actually used to get microwavable bacon for the morning before school, so we could just put it in the microwave and just turn it on, so she didn't have to like worry about fixing breakfast and shit. Yeah, so it was definitely a thing. But after my parents got divorced, it did get a little different, but like not to where I didn't really like in the moment. I thought like, oh my God, this is so terrible. Like, but like in reality, like looking back, I mean, my mom did the best that she could. Like, so, and then when we moved in with my grandma, my mom too, then we was back to just being spoiled rotten again and got anything and everything we ever wanted. Me and my sister. I got my first car at 15. I was driving my grandma's. I totaled it, eating a donut, actually.
Oh, man.
I went, because they had punished me from the car. And so I knew I knew I could manipulate my grandma. I knew if she was going to, and I'm so sorry, Mama, about this. But, like, if I told her, Mama, can I go get donuts for everybody before we go to church this morning? It was a Sunday morning. And she was like, oh, yeah, baby, because that was just so sweet of me to want to do that. So I knew once I got the keys back, she wasn't going to make me give them back to her again. And then, but God knew too. And he said that I wasn't time for me to have those keys back, because sure enough, I had left Tasty Donuts and I was passing right there in front of Walmart in Hammond. And I bent down and I grabbed a donut and I took a bite. And when I looked up, the light was red. The truck was coming across from like Walmart to Hobby Lobby, and there wasn't I could do. And I knew I was going to hit him. So I just slammed on the brakes as fast as I could. And then when I came back to, there was smoke everywhere because the airbags came out and the windshield crushed in, and I still had donut in my mouth. I opened the car and fell out on the ground I was dead, and I was still chewing donut. It was very crazy. It was bad. They actually had 2 kids in the back of the truck that I hit, and they flew out of it, but they landed on the only grass anywhere around there in the ditch part. They was perfectly fine, both of them.
When the cop showed up, you gave him a donut? I'm sorry.
No, actually, that's the first time I seen police being crooked. He actually got me in his car, and he was like, no, look, I know your mama. Me and her are good friends, so I'm not going to give you any tickets. You're not going to get in trouble for this or nothing. He said, but you got to be more careful when you're driving. This could have prevented you from getting your license if I wouldn't have known, And I was like, yes, sir. And that was the first time I ever seen police being like that. I didn't know that was a thing really until then. I knew we never paid tickets, but I knew we had family that got our tickets fixed, but I didn't know anything else.
I remember one time that time whenever me and her was just messing around, and I was still with my other baby mama, and she had came looking for me and found me by her house, and started a whole bunch of and the police got called, and they arrested her and my baby mama. I don't remember why they arrested her, but that was my first time seeing the police be crooked. Her mama pulls up and make a phone call to the Scott, the head of Tampo Parish or some shit, and she calls him, and next thing I know, I see the officer taking the cuffs off of Cheyenne.
Oh man,
he was so mad.
Like,
that cop was so mad. When my mama pulled up, she blocked them in the driveway. Like, the police couldn't go anywhere until my mama moved her car.
Yeah.
Like, she was mad as like a hornet. Well, she called somebody, and this was nighttime too. It was late at night, so I don't
maybe
know.
8,
like, so
9
she
o'clock.
calls dude, and she's telling him, and she's like, I'm talking about carrying on. She's mad with this whoever she's on the phone with, and then she walks up with the most smart face and expression you can ever imagine, and she holds her phone out like this, and she says, "It's for you," to the police officer, and he gets on the phone, and the only thing he said, he was like, "Uh-huh,
all right,
yes sir, all right,
and then
yes sir."
I was like, what the fuck? I'm sitting up here watching this whole thing.
And then he literally looked at me like, if looks could have killed, I would have been dead. But he looked at me. He told me today was my lucky night, and he took the handcuffs off of me, and I got to go.
oh man.
And that was after I done hid from him and everything. Because at first I was hiding underneath the trailer at my Aunt Chastity's house, like 2 houses down. And then she snitched on me. I mean, unbeknownst to her, she believed the police when they said they just wanted to talk to me. Like, she thought they was telling the truth. So, like, she came and got me. She was like, "Cheyenne, get out from underneath that trailer." Like, I always had a good hiding spot. They never would have found me. And she was like, "Cheyenne, get out from underneath there." And I came out and I was like, "Chastity, why? Like, what are you?" She was like, "They just want to talk to you." I was like, that is not true. They never mean they just want to talk to you. That's not true, Chastity. And this time, I mean, the officer's already there too with her, so I didn't have no choice but to go get put in handcuffs. Thank God my mama pulled up.
Why the cops came anyway?
Because the neighbors probably called him, because me and Blancy was probably having to cuss out, holler, and screaming and all this other stuff.
Actually, the dude that called the police on him, he actually one of my good friends now.
Yep.
Oh damn.
I didn't even know him. I ain't even know him back then, like, until just not too long ago, maybe a year or two. And she told me the story, and she said, and she was trying to think of the person that called the cops, and she was like, "Oh yeah, it was Tommy, your boy Tommy." And I was like, "Tommy?" I was like, "Yeah." She was like, he was renting the house from my mama. I'm like, "Damn, it's a small world."
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even know him then. I don't even know how I met him. I don't even remember how I met Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you were with your first baby mama?
Yeah.
And all this went down?
Yeah.
How many kids did you have with her?
3.
3?
3 boys.
How old were you when you had your first one?
19, maybe,
Okay.
yeah. 06.
How was that like, being young and having a kid?
I had to quit school. Because she was pregnant with him while I was in school. So,
Are you going to college? Or high school?
I was in high school.
Okay.
She was pregnant with him when we was like 18. And so I had to quit school, get a job. I just started being a man. Had to be a man early. Yeah. Had to get a place. Had to get an apartment. Got me a job. Got my first job. I think at McDonald's. I think it was my very first job, McDonald's. My first real job. Cause I think I had when she got pregnant. When I found out she got pregnant, I started working on the garbage truck. I was like 17 when we found out. So, and I had to be at the end when I was 17, because I remember getting an apartment and everything. I had to wait. I moved out of my mama's house at 17. I got an apartment. Got my first job, real job. Got me a little car. Just had to man up, you know. Actually, I had that was my second car. I had bought 2 cars by then because she had to rate the first one we had within 2 weeks of us having it. And so I had to buy another one. And raise my little family. You know, it was hard. It was hard at first because mom's hadn't got a little boyfriend. She hadn't put us out because she didn't want my first baby mama to be walking around and because she was kind of fine or whatever. I guess my mom was intimidated about it.
Oh, she kicked y'all out?
Yeah, she kicked us out. I was staying in an abandoned vehicle for a couple of days, maybe a week, until I got me a little apartment. I think I still had to wait because I had to wait till I turned 18, and I was about to be 18 that year, around that time, and
You had the baby at this point?
No.
Or she was still pregnant? She
was still pregnant. And she had the baby after we hadn't got the apartment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, but that was rough.
Huh?
Getting kicked out when she's pregnant, but that was rough.
Yeah. We had to sleep in an abandoned vehicle for a couple of days. No, we slept in the car we bought for a couple of days. But then after we had the baby, my mama had kicked us out, and we had to sleep in an abandoned vehicle for a couple of days until I got the apartment.
That was your first one, right?
My first time, yeah.
First time?
Yeah.
Then, you mind telling me about his accident that he had?
Huh?
You want to talk about his accident? Or?
Yeah. He passed away back in 2008. My oldest son. I was actually talking to her when this happened, and just like maybe 10, 15 feet away from when it happened, and he let his neck up in the car window. He was standing on the button, I guess, and hanging out the window at the same time. And when he was standing on the button, he had to turn the key on and everything. Like, it wasn't cranked; it was just turned to where everything would come on, like all the functions in the car started working in there. And, I guess he was just standing on the button, and when the window let all the way up, his neck was still sticking out. I don't actually know how it happened. Like, it was like a freak accident. I don't really even like talking about it because I don't understand how something like that could happen and take a whole life, and it'd be my last time seeing my son, alive. It was like the hardest day of my life.
I'm sorry about that, Q.
Yeah.
So how many children do you have now?
I got four boys.
4?
Yeah. My stepson, and I got another son from her, and my other 2 older sons from my first baby mom.
Oh, so you have one together?
Yeah, we have one together.
Yeah, one. Biologically.
How old is he?
12. He
We
just
have a
made
13-year-old
12.
too.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
I pretty much
13-year-old.
raised my stepson. I pulled
Like, he
him
cut
out.
his umbilical cord. Like,
Yeah.
he was literally in there when I had him and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's just white.
He's what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just white?
Yeah.
On the outside.
Right, on the outside. On the inside,
he's black.
Right.
You'll think he's black the way he talk and act, and he black.
That was from
he white.
Previous
white.
relationship, I guess.
It was actually from one night stand. With somebody that was one of my friends. He actually died 3 days after my son was born. So.
Hey.
Yeah, so he never even got to know him at all.
And I was there ever since.
That's good.
Well.
You was there even when I had him in the hospital.
Yeah.
Every day at the hospital too.
Yeah.
At least he has like a father figure in his life, you know?
Right. Yeah.
That's good.
He ain't really miss a beat.
Well, no, he's never.
He ain't never missed a beat.
Like, if you ask him when he's talking about it, he talks about his dad all the time, but he's talking about Quell. Like, he talks.
Yeah.
Like, that is his dad. If you ask him who his dad is, that is his dad.
Yeah, no, I don't think no other picture come up in his head of who his dad is. Like, even though I'm not his.
Because he's been there since he was a baby. Literally.
talk about. I remember you telling me one time you had to go to jail for something.
Yeah.
Kind of tell me about that.
I went to jail a lot of times.
Oh.
I went to jail probably over 10 times, maybe. But the only time I ever went to jail, I ain't never really even did no time. Most I did was
I've done
like
more
60
time
days
than him.
maybe. Did but them 60 days feel like 2 years, and because by the time you get in there a week, you pretty much used to everything. Cause there ain't really a whole lot going on. It's a lot, but it's not a lot. Like, cause you in this one little area for like this big amount of time, and like it's only so much shit that could go on. It's a lot of shit that goes on, but it's just I don't know how to explain it. Like, cause it's a lot of shit that goes on. Like it's a lot of shit in that motherfucker, boy. I don't wish jail on nobody. Like that's like a horrible place. Like it's bad. Like nothing about it. Like I heard that the women's side is a whole lot different. It's a whole lot more.
It is
Easy to live, but not on the man's side. Like too much testosterone. I think it is. Like everybody just up in there want to be a tough guy. Like everybody got a point to prove. Everybody want to be in charge. Everybody want to show they got
girl
a
side,
swinging dick. You know,
we're all moms, and like so, like everybody wants. If you're crying, they want to come give you a hug. Like, oh, are you okay, baby? And like most of us are moms missing our kids, so like everybody is just like loving.
And it's the same
comforting.
thing on the men's side, but they don't want to show it. You know how it is. Men don't like to show their emotions.
How old were you?
Especially black men.
How old were you when you first went?
Shit. Well, my first time getting in trouble, I was like 17. I got the jump out boys had jumped out on us on the block. We was out there selling everything, coke, pills, everything. Like you name it, the Taliban was a one-stop shop. Like it was like the hottest drug zone in Tenant Parish. Like if you ask me, like I'm pretty sure some people are beg to differ, but they used to call the Taliban $1 million spot. Like it stayed rolling. It stayed rolling night and day. You could go out nighttime, you make the most money because ain't too many people out there hustling at night. I stayed right on side of a crack house where all the crackheads used to come do their dope and shit at. And so it was always booming. You couldn't not make money. Like we used to keep wads of money, big stacks of money, like shoebox money, what they used to call it. Shit, I remember times when I used to crackheads used to come knock on my window, and I used to not even have to get up there. I just serve them out the window.
Hey, drive through.
Yeah, like a drive through. Yeah, but I ain't not all the crackheads. It was just one. That was just the one that stayed next door to me. His name was Pizzo, and I used to get him the when it had to be $20 or more though. They were spending to wake me up out of my sleep. Well, no, I'm lying. At night it used to have to be like $40-$50 or more because I was making $20 a pop. Like I was just if it wasn't like some big money, like don't come knocking on my window. Like here have 3-4 want $30, $40, $50 for dope and shit. Boy, I make shit. It wasn't nothing to make $400, $500, $600, $1,000 at night. Just not even getting up out of the bed, just reaching out the window.
Oh man.
Yeah. Easy money.
What's the most you had at one time? Like people come through like 10, 20, 30?
Like wait.
Like people come through and say, hey, can I get whatever?
Oh shit.
I don't know how this stuff works.
Most I ever made in one day, probably a couple $1,000 maybe.
I sold out $5,000. Like literally, that was his. Literally, I lost it. Like it fell out of my pocket at the dollar store.
Okay.
And we went back to go get it, and it wasn't there.
Yeah. That was like the biggest loss I ever took, like $5,000.
I felt so bad.
Besides having to pay lawyers, and like
No.
that's another thing. That's probably more like about $50,000 maybe. I done got in a lot of trouble, but had the money to get myself out, you know. Because once again, the crackhead, it was more than just a person I get money from. Like he was the person that bailed me out of jail too every time. Cause
dang.
yeah, every time. Like I give him some dope and he'll come bail me out of jail. Like using his land, his property. He'd do a property bond on me.
Y'all ever did a thing where you lend somebody a car for a weekend?
Oh yeah, rentals.
Yeah.
That's what we used to call them.
I just heard about that.
Rentals.
Somebody at work told me about that.
Yeah, they had. Yeah, that was a common thing back then. Like you'll get the crack rental like for like $10-$20 for 4-5 hours, and you'll treat it like it's yours. You know, you'll go clean it up and vacuum it out and go through the hood, go pick up, you know, go do whatever and treat it like it's yours. You know, but the whole time it's not. And then after that, shit, we went to stealing cars. And doing that same shit, going cleaning up like it was ours, riding it like it was ours. I'm talking about brand new shit like F-150s and Chargers. It was like back when the Chargers and shit first just came back out, like back in 01, 03. Like we was taking shit like that on 22s and shit, 24s. That was back when 24s wasn't even out yet. 26s and shit. They ain't have all that shit. They had like the biggest runs you could get back then was like 22s. And yeah, we was stealing all type of shit. Like, you know, I was living a fast life at a young age. Now when I look back at it, I did a lot of dumb shit like that I never do. Like, I never do some of the shit I did when I was young. I did a lot of shit.
When you first went to jail the first time, were you like what was your...
Man, I was scared. I remember, I was scared.
Yeah.
I remember the ride to the first time, I don't even remember my first time going to jail. I don't remember if it was in the 8 meter or him, but I remember the first time me going to jail. I think it was the time that I'm talking about now. I got caught with 2 ounces of weed, and they took me to jail. And I remember asking the police officer, the officer that was bringing me to jail, I was like, what is it like in jail? And then he was like, I don't remember his response, but he kind of downplayed it. It wasn't nothing like how he said it. Because he obviously ain't never did no time in jail, because it was the opposite of what it. But I didn't know that, so I thought I was going to be all right from the way he was talking about it. But no, it wasn't. Nothing like how he said. It wasn't as laid back as he said. But yeah, I remember asking him everything, but he didn't really know too much. He was pretty much just telling me what he seen on TV or some shit. Thought he knew about it. And
what was it really like in jail when you finally got
there? Jail was crazy.
I know he had letters every single day.
Yeah.
Every single
I was like
day.
one of the only ones. Like she held it down from that. That's another thing that attracted me to my wife. How she held me down when I was in jail. But jail was fucking crazy, bro. Like, see people get beat up all the time and drug transactions. Like, I remember having cause I was like doing it. Like I had people bringing stuff in for me. And I was distributing stuff like cigarettes and stuff, because you couldn't get cigarettes in jail. So I was getting it in through the trustees and stuff. I knew a dude from out the streets that was on the trustee. There was a trustee, and really I had a few people, but my cousin that was on the trustee, he fucked over me and then bring my package back. So I had to start fucking the dude I knew from school. And he was getting it in to me. They was sneaking it in through like a glove, like the finger of a glove. Like you get a finger, the middle finger of a plastic glove. You get that packed full of tobacco. I think it was costing me like a $50 phone card.
Okay.
Yeah. For a finger of tobacco. But you could make so much money off that one finger, like, cause you was selling little skeeter legs of cigarettes, like, for like $10.
So, Cheyenne, you said you went to jail?
A few times.
Why did you go to jail a few times?
Well, one time I went to jail for a hot dog. That's the most recent one. Like a stolen dog.
Come eat a hot dog?
Yeah. No, Cole bought a dog. It was a cute little English bulldog.
Oh, I thought you meant hot dog like in a
No.
Right, no, it was a pun on the word like a hot as in stolen dog. Quell had bought an English bulldog from somebody, and come to find out the English bulldog was stolen from somebody else. And we had the little thing for months, like literally 4 or 5 months. He even broke his leg, and we had to pay almost $5,000 for him to have surgery on his leg. Yeah. Like, no lie. Then that's not even including us having to bring him to the pet emergency room because it happened on a Saturday. And then I posted a picture of him on Facebook because we was walking, like I was going to take him on a walk, but English bulldogs are fat and lazy. And as soon as we made it to the road, he laid down and just decided he was going to take a nap. So I took a picture of it and I posted that picture on Facebook. And then the next thing I know, a few days later, I was at our trailer when we lived in the Albany, standing by the back door smoking a cigarette, and I heard my mother-in-law holler my name. So I ran to the front door, and she had 2 detectives with her, and they came to my door and they said, "Where's your dog at?" But he had already walked up to my feet by that point. I was like, "What do you want to know about my dog for?" Mm-hmm. And they said, "Well, if we're asking about a dog, 9 times out of 10 it's because that dog's stolen." And I was like, "We paid for this dog. Like, I bought this dog. This dog is not stolen." And he asked me if he could come inside and search my house. And I was like, "No, sir, you cannot." And he was like, "Okay, well, I'll tell you what then. If you don't let me come inside and search your house, I'll call whoever my probation officer was at the time. I can't think of their name right now. But he said, I'll call whatever the and you will not only are we going to search the house, but then I'm going to charge you with every little thing I find in there." And I didn't know what they was going to find in there. So I figured that probably wouldn't be a good idea. So I was like, he told me they just wanted to look at my TVs. He said that whoever stole the dog stole TVs too, like some kind of Samsung TVs. And I was like, "Oh no, you can come look at my TVs for sure," because Quell keeps his receipts for everything. Mm-hmm. And not only that, but if somebody comes to you trying to sell a TV, like usually that's probably because the TV's stolen. But a little puppy, like he was literally like a 6-week-old puppy. He came in the little kennel and everything. Like it was crazy. It was really crazy.
I ain't have to buy nothing for the dog. He had everything.
Me and the dog had to ride in the cop car together. We rode in the back of the cop car together, and that was the last time I seen him. His name was Chubb. And I actually ended up spending 6 weeks in jail behind that because I was already on probation. And so they ended up shipping me to Rayville, like a women's prison.
Way up north.
Right. And I was like, oh my God. But yeah. And I was in there with real killers and real criminals. Like, I don't know if you heard a couple years ago about them people that had an autistic woman like locked up in a cage in A-Meat, and they was like selling her body and stuff, and like abusing her, like made her drink her mama's ashes out of milk, and like was beating on her and stuff. I was in there with them, like real criminals that had killed people and stuff, all because of a dog.
What was your experience like in there?
Oh, I mean, it's my experience. It's always fun. Like, and that was the last time I was in jail too, because I was in there for the dog. My lawyer like told the judge, she was like, "Your Honor, can we get $10,000 bail and terminate the rest of her probation because of the charge?" And the judge was like, "Well, what's the charge?" And she was like, "Possession of a stolen dog." And the judge was like, "Huh?" And my lawyer repeated it. And the judge like literally laughed and was like, "Bail set at $10,000, blah, 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 and probation is terminated in this." So I got to get off probation and everything after that because of the dog. But I've been to, the first time I went to jail, they got me at school for having at school in my car. So they took me from school 3 months before my high school graduation and brought me to jail. And whenever I went in there, I still had some weed in my bra because the dogs for some reason didn't smell that. And so they were still allowed to smoke cigarettes in jail. So they had papers and I had weed. So why not smoke that while I'm in jail? I mean, I'm in jail. Yeah. So we rolled it up and smoked it. And then next thing I know, then this lady and this police officer with this black thing on and it says K9 unit on the back of his shirt, he comes in there and he asks, "Where's it at?" "Where's she at?" is what his exact words was. And Miss Lorraine pointed directly at me. And then he asked me where my stuff was. And I didn't know where we smoked it. So I showed him where my stuff was, and he dumped everything out and flipped everything over. And then he said, "If somebody doesn't tell me who's got it, I'm starting to pass out charges to everybody in here." every single girl in there in unison pointed at me and started saying that I was the one that had it and I brought it in there, blah, 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 blah. They tried to get me with distributing in a controlled facility for that, but I told them I wasn't signing unless they let me call my mama. And they would not let me call my mama, so I wouldn't sign the paper saying they read me my Miranda rights. And then I never heard anything else about that.
Probably because they ain't had no evidence. They hadn't smoked it all, so.
Another funny time, I went to jail.
You can't prosecute nobody if you ain't got no evidence. I mean, people can say what they want.
I went to jail for telling a police officer, bye, Felicia. He told me I was going to jail because I had a smart mouth. And I did, and went and sat there for 2 months. Literally, I was with my mom, actually.
Yeah, true. Facts.
True story.
But they got music out here saying F the police.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, for some reason,
that was around the time too.
I was so innocent. Like I wasn't doing nothing wrong, so I thought for sure I could like say whatever I wanted to say and be okay. When I told him bye, Felicia, his whole face turned red like your shirt, and he got big. I was like, I'm sorry, I take it back. Like I didn't mean anything by it, but it was too late. He said, give me your phone. You're going to jail. You got a smart mouth, and I'll be damned if I really didn't go. I thought for sure. I know. Like, couldn't even get out. I was in there for 2 months then. All for having a smart mouth.
What were the other women in there like?
Oh, people in jail are always lovely. All the girls are good. Actually, that particular time, I ended up at the nicest jail I've ever been to because they shipped me and my mama. First, they shipped us to Concordia, which was a ratchet, nasty jail. They had a bird flying around in there and stuff. It was really, really bad. But then Tangipahoa Parish dropped their contract with Concordia while we was there, so they had 2 buses come and pick up 18 girls. There was 9 girls in each bus, and it was literally meant to hold 9 people. Like, it was so packed in there, and we had to ride in handcuffs and shackles all the way from Concordia to Plaquemines Parish, like at the bottom of the boot. It was like a 7.5-hour ride in handcuffs and shackles. It was miserable. And then we was all like getting nervous because we had to go through like the Katrina parts of New Orleans still. Like we was in the hood. And so like we just looking at each other like what kind of jail are we finna walk into? But it was the nicest jail I'd ever been to. It was brand new and they had like 5 girls in there and it was meant to hold like thousands of people. Now it's actually only a federal jail. Like they hold people that's doing fed time there. But we had a basketball court in our jail. So like in the dorm we was in, it had an upstairs and downstairs. It had shower stalls, bathroom stalls, and then separate sinks. Then, and on the downstairs part, they had a few beds down there and then like a little like seating area to like watch TV and stuff. And then if you walked straight past the TV, they had a door that stayed open all day long and it was a whole entire basketball court. It was a whole basketball court. And it actually had like these little breathable windows at the top of it so you could feel a breeze every now and then. While I was there, Snoop Dogg came there to do a music video. The guards came and showed us pictures that they had took with him there. It was an artist that he had signed or something that he was doing. They was doing a music video there because it was like such a new jail and they filmed a movie there too. I don't remember what it was called, but they did that too. It's a really nice one. If I ever had to go back, that's where I'd want to go.
Got any cool stories from women's prison?
Not really, you know. I mean, other than the characters you meet in there, because like I said, they've got some different people in there. But women's jail's always so everybody's just nice in there. Like I hate jail though. Like jail sucks. Like it literally, it's like 1 hour is like 20 hours. Every day goes by so slow. And
one day is like a month.
And then, like, the people in there, especially when you get out of A-Meat and they send you to prison, like, the people in there, you wouldn't even believe some of the crimes they're charged with. And, like, a lot of those people are really talented. Like, there was this one girl that used to sing every single day, and I don't even remember her name, but she used to sing so pretty every single day. And she was in there for, like, human trafficking or, like, some kind of crazy shit. You would be another girl that was in there that was so quiet and reserved, had killed her twin kids, like, and I just couldn't even imagine like how somebody could do some like shit like that. Like, but they had, other than me being in there with real criminals and their stories, nope, I just had did my little time. Made you feel like you was out of place.
Same thing with me, and like I was up there on a little petty ass charge, and I'm up in that with killers and drug kingpins and rapists and motherfucking everything, all type of shit. Like,
Everybody thought it was funny when I was in there for the dog and the smart mouth thing. You know.
That's what I was going to ask you. They come up to you like, "Why are you in here?" Well, I stolen dog.
No, I said because of the hot dog.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it sounds better when you say it like that. And then I'd get the same reaction. What? And I'd be like,
yeah.
I was in possession of a stolen dog. You know, didn't even get charged with stealing the dog because we didn't steal the dog. I was in possession of stolen property. Like literally, that was what the charge was.
Yeah, because since she was the only one that was there, so
they even thought that he ran out the back door. Because I told you in the beginning of that story, I was standing by the back door smoking a cigarette. Well, since the back door was open when they came through there, they tried to tell me that he ran out the back door and went and hid. Like, where is he at? Trying to get. And I was like, he's at school. And they was like, no, he's just gonna leave you here. Just take all these charges and blah blah blah. And I was like, no, he really is at school. Like, they didn't believe me for shit. They went back there and looked at everything.
Oh, dang.
Like, really?
Said you're in welding school?
Yeah, that was when I was in welding school. That was like 2011, 2012.
This was 2015.
Oh, shit. I was out of welding.
Yeah, you was working at Textron, I think.
Yeah.
Or 16, maybe. Yeah, that's where you was. You was at Textron. Because that's what I told him. You was at work.
What made you want to go to welding school?
Just following the crowd, pretty much. I'm glad I did though, because I didn't know what I was gonna do. I didn't know my purpose in life. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I didn't know what was gonna take me out of the streets, and I wanted to get out. And so I went back to go get my GED because I didn't finish school. And the place I went to go get my GED from, they was offering like you can learn a trade at the same time, and like they were trying to put us we was coming out to like Lacombe. We were coming out here and we built 2 houses out here. But I was in there. It was called U-Bill, and like they was paying you too. They were paying like I think it was like $300 every week or 2 weeks or something like that. And at the same time you get your GED, and after we completed that program, got my GED and everything, they put everybody they asked everybody that they wanted to go to college. I didn't know what I was going to college for, to trade school or whatever. Like you could have went to a university or they were going to put you in there. And I just followed everybody else. Everybody else said they want to be welders and go to work in the plant. So that's what I said, because that was back then. That was like the only thing the dude that come from the streets could do, like go to work in the plants or go work a turnaround or some shit. And you had to know somebody to be able to do that. And I didn't know nobody, so I had to get it how I live. I had to learn everything from scratch. I had to learn everything. Like I had to take the little entry test at the college, at North Shore Technical Community College, and got in welding school. And that's how I get to that's how I started my welding career. And none of my friends that went to welding school with me is welders. I'm the only one. Everybody else, they like fitters and some other shit, like not even in the plants at all. Like probably working behind a desk or something. Yeah.
What kind of welding can you do now?
Pretty much everything. I could weld aluminum, steel, TIG, MIG, stick. I could pretty much do everything. I've been doing it since I started welding in 2011. So I got my first job welding in 2000. Let me see. I went to the plants. What year that was? The time when I went to the plants in Texas.
In Channelview?
Yeah. It was like 2000.
I don't think I had any
14, because I started Textron in 2015.
Sierra died in 14.
So it had to be before Sierra died.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like 2013 maybe, when I first got my welding job. When I got my first welding job.
Okay. You what do you do for work, Cheyenne?
I'm just a homemaker and stuff. I just stay at home. I've done all kinds of stuff though. I was a phlebotomist, an EKG tech, medical assistant. Then I went to school for cosmetology and got my license in that. Then insurance, an insurance agent. And then I even went to Southeastern for a year for psychology. So I'm a career student. I like to learn.
That's good. You like staying at home now?
I like that the most.
Yeah. So after y'all both went to jail, how do you find employment now? Like, for Q, is it a challenge now?
Never been a challenge for me. I always had a head on my shoulder. I always knew when to get out, when to stop, when to like, I don't know, it's just God led me my whole way through my life. Like, if it weren't for God, boy, I'd probably be doing time. I'm supposed to be doing time. But I got away with a lot of shit, like a lot of stealing. Well, I used to do a lot of bad stuff that I'm supposed to be doing a lot of time for right now.
Are y'all religious right now?
My brother, huh?
Are y'all religious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we both believe
God is the head of my life.
Mine too.
He is what I let lead me. And
That's good.
I try to go by what he say. You know, I got my little flaws. I smoke my little weed. You know.
Everybody got flaws, though.
Yeah. But for the most part, I think I'm a good man. I ain't trying to brag on myself or being boastful. But I think, because I look at a lot of other people around me. I never been on child support. I always had all my kids. I always been a father figure. I always believe in being there for your family. That's how I was raised on family. On family morals. And that's just how I always live. Being more family oriented and just being there for my family, you know, putting my family before, well, putting God first and putting my family after, you know. Yeah,
that's good.
That what kept me out the streets. That what got me out the streets. That's another thing that got me out the streets. Beside me, my raising is what is another reason why I'm more successful now. My dad, shout out to my dad. He passed away back in November. If it weren't for him, I probably would have been a bad boy. You know, I probably wouldn't have had the successful life that I got now. But he always told me, life insurance. He always made it. He beat it in our head to take care of your family first. Make sure your kids got life insurance. Cause the thing, he told me that because my first son that died, he had life insurance on him, so I ain't have to go do no fund me page or sell no plates or nothing like that. Ask nobody for shit. You know, I had life insurance on, so that paid for it, and it gave us. Well, I didn't get none of the money from it. My baby mama took all that. After we buried him and got his little vault and everything. Yeah, we had a pretty nice funeral for him and got him laid out in a nice casket. Yeah.
So what y'all's future plans for now?
Be great.
Yeah. Just take a lot of family vacations, and our two older sons, they getting old now. They about to be grown. So I don't know.
We got a trip coming up in September. I hope they don't think they're too cool to start to go with us after this one, like, because they're starting to be at that age where they think they are.
Yeah.
Were they like teenagers?
Yeah.
Three teenagers.
One of them 17, one of them 16. And we just got a recent teenager. He just made 13.
What's it like with teenagers now?
Oh God!
They think they grown. They think they grown. They liking girls now.
They made me want to choke them out, and then I'm the only girl in the house, so like that's.
They feel like harder. They got a saying.
They don't go to no skating rinks, do they?
Nah,
no,
they not.
We went there. My son was just saying yesterday they need to open up a new skating ring around here. Because when I tell them the stories, like I was just telling you, they I guess they pictured in their head like, man, that was fun. It sounded fun, but it was risky. And we were doing a lot of risky shit back then. A lot of risky. Boy,
I like having all boys though, because they all are really close in age. Like for instance, they almost all got expelled from school last year, but just because they was fighting and like for each other and stuff, and like that's to me that's cute. I'm glad that they have each other. I teach
my kids don't not go for that bullying shit.
Yeah.
Like somebody f you, you be like that. Let me worry about the consequences, and
I actually had to fight with one of the kids' mamas.
I don't do the bullying. Yeah,
What was that about?
She had a more recent fight than I had.
This was just like a couple weeks ago. Okay.
Nah, this was like months.
This was this year. Well, yeah, months ago, but this was like
right before school.
Yeah.
Like right before school ended. It was like maybe a month or two before school ended.
Politely tell the lady. It happened
like in April, maybe March.
To raise her kid better, to not teach her kid to be a bully, and then she wanted to get smart, and then so I got smart. And then she hit me. Like, I wasn't even expecting it. But she punched me right in my eye. So then a dog walked that girl all up and down the street. They had a man. She had like 3 daughters that was trying to jump me. That tried to jump in the fight. But I had my little cousin's girlfriend, Caitlin, with me too. And she's like the size of a beanpole. Literally. She's so tiny. But poor Caitlin, she got out, lost her glasses and everything. But she jumped out and started fighting all 3 of them little girls. And then my cousin Tyler, he came over there and parted the waters like Jesus. Like, I'm talking about, pushed all them hoes off and got us out. But I whooped her. She ain't get the better of me. Ain't leave shit on me. Yeah, that's the only time she hit me was that once. And then she was trying to pull away, and I wasn't finna stop hitting her. I was hitting her dead in her eye each time I was watching.
They were bullying your kids?
Yeah, and I don't like a bully.
Did they bully them after that?
Older kids too.
After that, my kids got expelled for jumping them.
These high school kids messing with middle school kids.
Right. These are older kids trying to mess with my little kids, and I'm not going to tolerate
15,
that.
16-year-old messing with
12 and 13.
No, he wasn't 13 then.
Right. Yep, that's true. 11 and 12. I can tell you whenever you're whenever your watchers and viewers be like, oh my gosh, get them back on there. They're so interesting. Like, we'll come back.
Thank y'all for watching.
Blue Collar Podcast.
Blue Collar Podcast. Tune in.